Hello, lovely scientists. Welcome to another lesson with Mr. Olio. I hope the previous lesson you learned a lot. In this lesson, you will be learning a new topic titled Pollination of Flower. I'll come again. Pollination of flower. Now, what is pollination? Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same or another flower. I'll come again. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same or another flower. So that is the definition of pollination. Next, there are two types of pollination, which are 1. Self-pollination, 2. Cross-pollination. So these are the two types of pollination. Now, what is self-pollination? This occurs when pollen grains of a flower are taken to the stigma of the same flower. I'll come again. Self-pollination happens or occurs when the pollen grain of a flower are taken to the stigma of the same flower. Example is an hibiscus flower. So this is a picture showing butterfly pollinating an hibiscus flower. Next, cross-pollination. This is when pollen grains of a flower are taken to the stigma of another flower of another plant of the same kind. The stigma is taken of the pollen grains is taken from the stigma of another flower to a different kind of flower of the same plant. Example, a pawpaw plant. Pawpaw plant. Next, this is a picture showing the pollination of a pawpaw plant. Next, some agents of pollination are 1. Insects, 2. Wind, 3. Birds, 4. Humans. Insects, wind, birds, humans. Next, insect pollinated flower. There are flowers that attract insects like bees, butterfly, moth, etc. There are insects that attract flower like butterfly, moths, and they attract flower by their color and scent. They are attracted to the flower by their color and scent. Insects feed on the liquid of a flower called nectar. I'll come again, nectar. So take note of that. Next, features of insect pollinated flower. Features of insect pollinated flower. That means their characteristics. 1. They are large and brightly colored to attract insects. They are large and brightly colored to attract insects. 2. The flower produces scents. The flower produces scent that attract the insects. 3. It produces sugary liquid called nectar. So the nectar the insect feed on attract the insect to that flower. 4. The stigma are broad and sticky. The stigma of the flower are broad and sticky, so that also attracts the insect. Next, examples of insect pollinated flowers are okra, groundnut, cashew, watermelon. I'll come again, okra, groundnut, cashew, and watermelon. Next, wind pollinated flower. Their flowers produce in bunches on a long stalk. This type of flowers are called inflorescent flowers. So wind pollinated flower, they are called inflorescent flower. So take note of that. Next, features of wind pollinated flower, meaning their characteristics. 1. Flower is small and dull in color. Wind pollinated flowers are small and dull in color. 2. The flower does not produce nectar and scent. The flower does not produce nectar and scent because they are not attracted by insects. 3. Pollen grains are smooth and light. They are smooth and light because they are not also attracted by insects. They are pollinated by wind. 4. Stigma of flower is large and swings around to trap pollen grains. They swings around because of the wind to trap pollen grains. Examples of wind pollinated flowers are maize, rice, oil palm, sugarcane. So these are various examples of wind pollinated flower. Now this is a picture showing wind pollinated flower. Lovely, right? Next, the joining together. So take note of this. The joining together of pollen grains, which is the male sex cell, with the nucleus of the ovule, which is the female sex cell, is called fertilization. I'll come again. It's called what? Fertilization. Take note also that after fertilization, the ovary forms the fruits, while the ovules forms the seed. So take note of that, lovely kids. Now let's see some difference between fertilization and pollination. 1. Pollination. It is carried out by insect or wind, but in fertilization, only male and female sex cell, that means gametes, are joined together. 2. Pollination. It occurs in different flowers of a plant, but in fertilization, it only occurs in single flowers. 3. In pollination, it does not produce fruit and seed. So pollination does not produce fruit and seed, but in fertilization, fruit and seed are formed. So these are some difference between pollination and fertilization. Wow, super kids! It has been a fun learning process so far throughout this trimester. So super kids, make sure you read your notes and stay safe. See you guys next trimester. Bye bye.